Hello, I'm K-pop World and welcome to my channel. So a lot has happened since the last time I made a video on NJZ slash New Jeans slash whatever they want to call themselves. So they recently released a teaser of new music along with graphics for their new logo, which by the way seem a little similar to the whole bunny light stick that they had while they were New Jeans. Hanni's visa issue also got solved. Ador was cleared of allegations of harassment and confinement. And the parents threatened to sue Tenasia, a media company that released an article that the parents were not having. And probably the most interesting thing, at least to me, is the allegation that Bang PD may have tried to sabotage NJZ. Let's start with Hanni's visa issue because this was like a whole thing. And if you watch my previous videos, you know that I was not very keen on talking about her visa situation because I feel like when you talk about somebody's visa situation, especially in the predicament that Hanni finds herself in, where she's not very popular in the public eye, it really does invite a lot of hate and a lot of xenophobic remarks, which I'm not having any of that. But her getting her visa issue sorted out the way that it was sorted out is interesting enough that we can talk about it because she had political help in order to get it renewed very, very swiftly. Now, in terms of the kind of visa that she's currently on right now, I'm not sure about, but I think it was reported somewhere or alleged somewhere that she is on a residency visa because she cannot be on an E6 work visa, considering you need to be signed to a company and the company has to sponsor you in order for you to get that visa done. And in order for her to get that visa done, she would have to sign with a new company, which is not going to happen anytime soon, not while they still have the legal dispute with Ador. But Park Ji-woon, a Democratic Party lawmaker, shared in a blog that he helped Hanni sort out her visa issue very swiftly. He went on to credit other people and immigration, saying that they also helped get the visa issue sorted out very swiftly and very quickly, which I'm just like, you admitted this on national television for everyone in the country to see and then for the rest of the world to hear about. You also made a blog about it. Have you no shame, sir? I really feel like this is one of those things that they should have just kept to themselves, and it should have been a matter of, look, Hanni's visa issue has been sorted out. In terms of how, just don't ask questions. Just don't ask. Just know that she's cool. She's not illegally in the country. She's chilling. This really should have been one of those moments that we just keep the secret to ourselves in terms of how it got fixed. If the media finds out, they find out, that's fine. But the fact that Park Ji-woon was almost bragging about the fact that he helped Hanni sort out her visa issues is weird. And it feels a little unethical, considering he's a politician who should be working on other situations. But I digress. Moving on. The parents of New Jeans slash NJZ came out with a statement saying that they are threatening legal action against Tenasia Media because Tenasia Media posted an article saying that NJZ was joining hands with Bana, a record company that has been helping NJZ with a lot of media requests from overseas. And I think they've been using the Bana studios to record music, I assume. But basically, Tenasia put out an article saying that NJZ was going to be signing a contract with Bana. The parents weren't happy about that article and they threatened legal action, which is crazy to me because I read the article and I think maybe because I read the English version, maybe things were changed, but that whole article was like speculative. Like it was this person said that, this person said that, that person said that. There was no definitive statement in that whole article. It really was an insider said that or somebody who knows somebody said that. It was so speculative. I don't understand how they're going to threaten legal suit over a speculative article. And honestly, I don't understand why the parents are trying to insist on suing Tenasia. I get Tenasia is not great. They have posted some articles that have been questionable in terms of ethics, even for the press. But ultimately, the truth is everybody's just trying to make a quick buck. Any article that they write about NJZ is ultimately just going to be billboard space for their advertisers. Something I found incredibly interesting is that the parents have kind of taken over the show and become like the PR team that just does not stop. Because the whole thing started out with Minhajin. She was the star of the show. And then New Jeans kind of took over when they decided to go head to head with Ador. And now the parents decided that they want to be the PR team for their daughters. And it's created a whole thing because now every other statement is like the PR team, the PR team, the PR team. And we just know it's them. but it's like their priorities kind of feel like it's in all of the wrong places. I understand that with the nature of the situation, they are trying to protect the girls as much as they can. But as a PR team, especially with the situation that they are in, there's some things that they need to learn to let go of. And this whole thing with Tenasia is one of those things that you really do have to let go of. Because if you do go to court, the court of public opinion is not going to matter in front of the law. So whether they are going to sign with Bana or whether these are just rumors that Tenasia was making up, as long as Hybe or Ador cannot find evidence to back up the fact that New Jeans is planning to sign with Bana, then everybody's going to be just fine on that front. On other fronts, however, is a different situation. It just feels like the PR team has chosen to take a very, very defensive stance, which kind of makes them look guilty. It's like they are defending every small thing that comes out about NJZ or about New Jeans, and it really does feel like they're doing something wrong, hence they're super defensive. They need to learn to let some things go. Now, the reason why the rumors with Bana even started is because the CEO and founder of Bana is a friend of Minhajin's. They worked together back when they were in SM Entertainment, and there's producers and songwriters from Bana that worked with the New Jeans members on their own songs. When you take that into consideration and the fact that Bana is handling their overseas media interview requests for NJZ, it kind of makes sense that the rumor would come out that they might just sign with Bana, considering we have not heard anything about them signing with a different company because they are too risky to take on currently. And it doesn't seem like Minhajin is starting her own company anytime soon. We've not heard anything about her looking for investments or anything of that sort. But the girls have come out and said that they will be signing with a company very soon. Now, possibly the most interesting thing that has happened in the last few weeks that I have not reported on NJZ is the NJZ parents, their PR team, came out with a statement accusing Bang SI Hyuk, Bang PD, of attempting to get their ComplexCon set cancelled. Now, according to them, they found out from an insider that works with ComplexCon that Bang PD made a call to get them cancelled from the lineup of ComplexCon. Now, apparently he made a personal call, which, I mean, if they said somebody else had made the call on his behalf, maybe I would believe it. But for Bang PD to call himself, I'm not gonna lie, that seems a bit far-fetched. Now, obviously, Ador came out with a statement very quickly to refute these claims. They stated that Bang SI Hyuk never contacted anyone at all about the New Jeans Hong Kong performance. They also stated that Ador never attempted to get NJZ's performance cancelled. Ador requested ComplexCon organizers use the New Jeans name and that they work with Ador in planning the New Jeans members' performance. Now, as always, Ador and their super diplomatic statements, there's really no surprise in their statement. It sounds just about as diplomatic, as robotic as it's ever going to sound. So here's my thing. I'm not a huge fan of Bang PD. If anything, I don't like the man at all. There's just something about him that gives me the creeps, gives you the willies. I just don't like Bang PD. But one thing I do know is that Bang PD is a really powerful man in the industry. He does have a lot of connections, which is why Hybe has risen to the heights that it is at right now. And yes, at times I will say Bang PD is kind of like a messy guy. There's been times when his private life has been on display for all of us to see, and it's not been pretty. But in terms of work, I feel like he's kept very well under wraps. There's not been very much controversy around how he works and how he runs things. So I do find it a little hard to believe that Bang PD himself would make a call to ComplexCon organizers to get them to cancel New Jeans. Now, what I feel would happen is that somebody else would make the call on Bang PD's behalf to get ComplexCon to remove New Jeans from the lineup. Now, there have long since been rumors floating around on the internet, whether it be on Twitter, whether it be on Reddit, that Hybe uses their connections to take opportunities away from certain groups or certain artists and have it given to their own groups. Now, again, these are all rumors from like a long time ago that have been floating around on the internet. Even to this day, they probably are these rumors. But let's keep in mind, this is Hybe we are talking about. Technically, they have the connections and the resources to get their groups into spaces that they want them to be in. But these have always been rumors. And New Jeans has been rumored to have benefited from this strategy that Hype uses, where they take certain opportunities away from certain groups and give it to their own groups. So now to think that the company that used to help them get these opportunities is now trying to take one away from them now that they decided to turn their backs on the company is kind of ironic. It feels like the superpower that helped them rise to fame will be the very cause of their downfall. Now, of course, these were all just rumors and speculations. I'm just telling you what I know. One thing I will say, though, about the statement that the PR team put out, the parents put out about Bang PD calling to have their ComplexCon performance cancelled, it feels like they're opening themselves up to a defamation case, because if things go well for them, which is unlikely in my opinion, but if things, say, did miraculously go well for them, I feel like Hype would pull out all the stops with defamation cases, infringement lawsuits, whatever they can think of, whatever they can make happen in terms of a lawsuit. I feel like they would do it. They would pile up those lawsuits in retaliation to losing. Because if there's one thing that I know for sure is that Hype is not going to be losing this case with grace. There is no way, in my opinion, no way. But in terms of whether or not Bang PD called ComplexCon organizers to get NJZ removed from the lineup, I honestly would not put it past the man, but at the same time, I just think he would probably do it in a better way. Considering all of his connections, I feel like there would probably be a better way that would keep his name out of the conversation that he would probably go with, rather than directly call the organizers himself to get NJZ cancelled from the lineup. And lastly, as of the 24th of February, Ador has officially been cleared of allegations of workplace harassment and illegal confinement. Now, this comes after a manager reported CEO Kim Joo-young for confining them and taking away their personal belongings. The manager alleged that they were held for 3 hours, maybe more, and they were forced to hand over their devices, including their personal cell phones, which, if you've worked in a corporate space, you know that sometimes certain companies, depending on the nature of your work, you will get a work cell phone and obviously a work laptop as well. So usually when you get like audited or when things like this investigations happen, you would probably have to hand in all the work stuff, but your personal cell phone is mostly never taken. So to have a manager come out and say that Ador forced them to hand over personal cell phones is kind of sketchy on Ador's part. Now, the problem with this whole statement is that there isn't really any evidence to back up the manager's words that her personal cell phone was also taken, considering the Ministry of Employment and Labor did an investigation and they found that there was nothing wrong with how Ador handled the situation and that they did not harass the employee or illegally confine them. Now, the manager in question is a manager who helped New Jeans when they first left the company, and she helped them get in contact with advertisers by contacting advertisers and telling them to bypass Ador and go straight to the girls. Now, at the time, this was a breach of contract on New Jeans' side and on the manager's side, because you are going against the company for employees that are essentially choosing to quit the company but are technically still a part of the company. This whole thing is a mess, actually. The manager had admitted that she had contacted advertisers to tell them to bypass Ador and go straight to New Jeans, and Ador came out saying that they had asked her multiple times to hand over the work devices that she was using in order for them to investigate. Now, when they did receive said devices, they were formatted, by the way. That's just like an admission of guilt. Now, the New Jeans members or the NJZ members received backlash from this as well, because when Ador was cleared of this, people started looking back on statements that they made with like suspicion, because the girls basically corroborated the manager's statement, saying that they did see the managers being confined and that they saw them coming out very distressed and that their personal cell phones and their personal devices had been taken away. This is also around the time when they came out with statements saying that Ador was harassing managers and directors that were working for the New Jeans team. Keep in mind, this was at a time when a lot of people were still on New Jeans' side. People were still feeling really bad for them. People just didn't trust Minha Jin, but they felt like the girls were being used. This was before they went completely off the rails. So for the Ministry of Employment and Labor to come out and say that Ador is cleared of these allegations, considering the New Jeans members have lost a lot of public support, fans and netizens weren't very keen on defending them in this whole thing, which is probably why they caught so many strays from this and why they are receiving backlash after Ador got cleared of these allegations. I'm not gonna lie, this has probably been one of the most interesting, probably one of the most entertaining defining contract disputes in K-pop history. Usually when there's K-pop contract disputes, it's really just not fun for anybody, not for the fans, not for anyone involved. I would hope not for anybody involved. It really is just very stressful, especially for the fans, because you really do feel for the idols. You know that they're going through a lot. But with this situation, it's kind of different for some reason. I feel like it shouldn't be, because NewJeans debuted in a company as big and as rich as Hybe, and they were given a lot of opportunities, a lot of resources, like right from the jump. It really is interesting to see them turn their back on Hybe and accuse Ador of mistreatment and mismanagement. Also, considering how young they are, you really cannot help but wonder if they're doing all of this because of Minhejin's influence, because they don't understand the situation that they're in, or if they really do know what they're doing and they're aware of the consequences that are going to follow should things go wrong. It's interesting because unless you're a company stan, you really would not stand with the company. You really will not support the company, because these K-pop companies really are so shit and they are a little exploitative. But at the same time, NewJeans slash NJZ are losing credibility very quickly. So it's hard to trust anything that they say. I will say, looking back at everything that has happened so far, I blame Hybe for how the situation has gotten out of hand. Let me explain. As soon as NewJeans got involved and started helping Minhejin out to try and clear her name in terms of her feud with Hybe, Hybe should have seen that as a sign to put the girls on hiatus, which, to be fair, they did. They did try to put the girls on hiatus after their Japanese dome tour, which they should have done after the concert. They should have put the girls immediately on hiatus. No questions asked, no fighting back, no negotiations with the parents. I think the worst part was that they called in the parents to tell them that they were going to put the girls on hiatus or give them a holiday or whatever. They should have just immediately put out a statement saying they're on hiatus. Done. Because if they had given the girls a holiday after their Tokyo Dome concert, I feel like the girls would have been out of the building and there would have been a lot less conflict between them and the Hybe executives or them and the Ador personnel. And I especially think it would have kept them out of the public eye for a little bit, so it would have kept them off of social media and they wouldn't have had the opportunity to do the live stream that they did. They wouldn't have had the opportunity to accuse Ador of mismanagement, because at that time, Minhejin was still technically CEO. This was before she was removed. They would have been out of the building, they would have been on holiday, and they would have been away from Minhejin. So basically, I blame Hybe for all of this, and hopefully they find a way to rectify everything, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm losing interest in this case. As interesting and as fun as it has been to read and to watch, it is getting old. It's getting tired. At this point, I just want the results. Are they Ador artists? Are they out? Are they on their own? What's happening? I just want the court to sort this whole thing out so that we can move on with our lives. Now, of course, these are just my opinions and you're free to share yours with me in the comment section. Hit the thumbs up if you like this video and be sure to subscribe so I can keep making more videos just like this one. Until our next time with K-pop. Goodbye.